Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. So, despite all the down talk about YieldMax, there's actually some really good YieldMax funds that really outperformed this week. You can probably guess the first one, the Nvidia one, of course, because we had such a great week for Nvidia. So, we're going to go over that one. Plus, we're going to look at CONY and SQY. Believe it or not, two of them that I'm in are actually up. So, we're going to look at SQY had a pretty good week, and we'll look at that one and CONY as well. But we will start off with the obvious one because with Nvidia having such a great week, uh, obviously you can imagine how well NVDY did. So to start off, actually had another company I was looking at here. So let's go over NVDY. So we actually went up like $4 a share this week, which for a YieldMax fund, that's a lot. Let's go over this one since inception. This debuted May of 2023. We opened at $20.01. The first day we got as high as 22.83. 3 months later, we were up to almost $25 a share, and then we pulled back in October like everything else did with, I call it the October lows. We closed at 20.36, but since then, we've been on an absolute tear. So if I go to the 6-month view here, we see a little bit more of a daily view. Let's see, year to date for 2024, actually, this is on fire. Year to date, total return is almost 40%. Since we started the year, we were at like 22.13, and we're all the way up to 28 now. So we've hit all-time highs in this one, and obviously this was propelled by earnings. Let me go back though and see from October 30th to the 29th of December. So we ended the year around 22 something. Okay. So yeah, we definitely hit all-time highs in this fund, and it seems like the sky's the limit with this one. If we look at just the last 5 days, we can pinpoint exactly where we were at 24.25, and then boom, the earnings announcement comes in. Boom, the next day we open up. Now, a question I have, something I don't understand, does this actually trade? The after hours confuse me. Okay, because we're seeing on the chart here in the after hours, all the way up to like 7 o'clock, we gained, and then by 9 o'clock, or even in the morning, okay, even all the way into, this could be a good question for Jay. Like, do these actually trade in the after hours? So, the morning of February 22nd, we had already gone up like $2 a share, almost $2 a share, 2 full dollars a share because of earnings. And then we kept running up from there. So, we're almost at $29 a share right now. In the after hours, we're actually at 29.36. I typically have been ignoring that because I've seen a lot of kind of crazy stuff happen during the after hours. But from where we were just within the last few trading days, where we were on the 21st compared to where we closed Friday, that was a $4.79 gain. So earnings alone gave us a 20% rate of return. And I would assume we'll see how things go, but we could have a phenomenal dividend for NVDY in the month of February, which will be announced in March. But it depends because we had this kind of straight shot up here based on how the stock shot up. So we'll see. But things are looking really good for NVIDIA, or for NVDY, actually. Um, so I know I've kind of been down on YieldMax a lot on this channel lately, but there are some really good funds out there that they have. SQY had a pretty good week last week. This one, since inception, it launched in October 1783. It's almost up a whole $6 a share. We ended 2023 at 26.23. Pulled back a little bit in the beginning of the year. Year to date, we're still actually down 1.57%. But if we look from the start of the year, yeah, we see we're down like almost a full dollar. But the week that we had, if we look at the last 5 days of trading, we were at like $20.50. And then we came back a whole $3, which is pretty good. So we'll look at the underlying as well. Let's see here. We got that was $3. It was like a 15% gain in this week. So we could be looking at a really good dividend as well. So this is one performing really nicely. Let's look at the underlying on this one, which is Block, formerly known as Square. So Block had a really good day Friday. Now I've been bouncing ideas off of some of you all in the Discord, And some of you all think that PayPal has kind of hit like it's like long term, like it's not going to really do much from now on because there's so much competition. Some of you have used the same logic with Block as well. But keep in mind, all these tech stocks ran up massively in 2021 when we had interest rates as low as they were. So all it would take, I think, from a macroeconomic standpoint, is for interest rates to start to get cut, and then we could see a huge run up in all of these again. So 5-day view for the stock. Did we have earnings reported? What jolted the stock up on the 22nd? So this was the same day as Nvidia. Did Nvidia overshadow these? Because there was a pretty significant, like $12, excuse me, $12 run up in the stock over here, and we're almost at $79. So SQY, needless to say, had a really good week as well. Now let's look at CONY. Now, those of you that follow me really close, you all know that I got into CONY and SQY in the beginning of the year. I actually put my Roth IRA contribution significantly into both of them. So CONY has been around since August. So if we go back here, August 15th was when we debuted. For year to date, we're still down like 11% because we were like at our peak at the end of the year. So since then, we've been kind of coming down. But as far as like the 5-day view, as far as last week, we were actually still down slightly. We're like $1 down this last week. And I would think that would have to do in large part with the performance of the underlying. So we'll go look at Coinbase. We're still not quite seeing the jolt we're looking for with Coinbase. I'm not sure when the Bitcoin halving is going to be announced. I know word is that it's coming this year. But look, year over year, Coinbase has still tripled in value, right? And obviously, we peaked out at like 183 at the end of last year. As far as year to date, we are up slightly. We're almost flat in the stock, but since February 5th, or if we go back to February 1st, we've been on a tear in the stock. So we could see a decent dividend for our Coinbase fund. So this one seems to be doing pretty good, actually. Let's look at Netflix next. We'll look at Netflix stock. Netflix stock has really come back. I mean, I believe we've exceeded our prior highs in this one. If we go all the way, like we'll go to like a 5-year view. Actually, we haven't. We peaked out at like almost 700. So, but we've come back a long way from a year ago. We've gained another $200 a share from where we bottomed out in May of 22. We've gained another $400 a share. That's incredible. So really, in 2022, you should have just been scooping everything up cheap instead of being cynical, right? So the 1-year target estimate has a slightly overvalued in this one. So that is that. Let's look at the past like year-to-date performance. We're up year-to-date because Netflix reported great earnings. I remember this on like the 23rd. So we shot up probably, yeah, almost $100 a share. And then within the past week, you can see, yeah, 593 came back down again. So we were up slightly. So there is that. The 5-day view there had a pretty good week for that one. So if we look at NFLY, we might actually see a good dividend in this one. So this strategy, I don't want to be too down on this high yield dividend strategy. I mean, once the market starts to really, which we've seen it rebound significantly, but I think there's still some meat on the bone, so to speak. We probably could have. We're probably. I feel like we're 60% recovered with most stuff. We could have another maybe 40 or 50% to go, which could come this year and really could be accelerated by the cuts in interest rates that we expect. So we could have a good year for all these funds. So this high yield dividend strategy may yet pan out for us. Let's see. We got one comment here. I think it's one of those, by the time you see a YMAX fund overperform, it's too late to buy it. Yeah, so I guess you got to get in early and just ride it out as the moral of the story, it seems like. So anyway, looking at NFLY, we had a pretty flat week from where we opened to where we closed. Didn't gain, but didn't lose. Year to date, we're up 13%. Since we're flat, the dividend might also kind of be flat in this one. So really, the big jolt was earnings, and we didn't see, from what I can recall, we'll have to review our dividends that we had from from January, which is convenient because I happen to have those up right here. So if we look again at the dividends that we got in January, let's see if let's review the Netflix one again. So we've got this one over here. Netflix, 83.24% yield. That was like our highest one. Oh, I only have the percentages here, not the dollar amount. So this one actually was our highest one last month. So the jolt for that one really was the earnings. So Nvidia should crush it this month. Also, AMDY did really well last month. We'll look at that one. I've pretty much covered all the really good ones this month. And I am going to make the case for what it would take for Tesla to recover. Let's see, Door Gunner is on. Haven't seen you in a while. Waiting for Tesla to finally start trending back up. Speaking of Tesla, right? We all know it will, like it always does. That one could be a laggard. I'm wondering because Tesla historically has been one that's very tricky to trade in and out of options on. I did have one successful call option on it back in 2021, but it was like barely successful. I made like a couple $100 and got out of that shit fast because it Tesla has typically been a very volatile stock. But you could be right. It's like Meta. Meta was a laggard also in recovering last year. Turned out to be my biggest call option win. So possibly, I don't know, maybe we should just take a risk and do options on Tesla. Could be a big risk, could turn out to be really foolish. We'll see. You bought 200 shares of YieldMax and looking to maybe get YMAX, see how those perform. Yeah, those are our newest ones, obviously. In addition to the one that launched last week for, what was it, MSFY? MSFY. Let's look at that one, actually. We'll review how that one did real quick. I'm not going to go too much longer here. I just wanted to highlight the top performers this week for our YieldMax funds. So this one had just went public. Wait a second. Oh no, this is a curve fund. This is Microsoft curve fund. What was the one that just went live? MSTY, right? Misty, right? The returns may have us misty-eyed. Okay, 21. Let's see. This one looks like it's flat so far. But the MSTR fund looks interesting for sure. Anyway, all right, you all. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, you're right. MSTY. You're spot on. Thanks for tuning in, you all. Like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, and we will see you all in the next one. I'm still working on that live show. We're gonna have that very soon. Maybe we'll get something out later tonight. So keep an eye out for that. Thanks, you all. Take care. Like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. See you all soon.